Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
The song that you are currently listening to is, as of now, a Mountaineer Podcast exclusive, and it is called Shovelin' Me, written and performed by Goldie and the Grindstones. You can check them out live at two different venues in the Peak to Peak area coming very soon, Howlin' Wind Brewing on July 20th and the Gold Hill General Store on August 10th. Be sure to stay tuned for more details, but if you want to learn more about the band and check out more of their releases, you can check them out on Instagram at Goldie and the Grindstones. And be sure to keep your eyes peeled for official releases from the band coming very soon.
Said no prayers and fought too long. I know that I need them, only been doing wrong. Trouble is, I don't want to start. I'm too damn deep.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to this week's edition of Music of the Mountains, brought to you by the Mountaineer Podcast, where we cover whatever music happenings are going on in the Peak to Peak area. This week, I have an up-and-coming local band for you guys, and I am very excited that we have two guests on board. Our musical guests this week. Do you mind introducing yourselves real quick?
Sure. My name is Chris Fogler. Chelsea and I share singing duties with Goldie and the Grindstones. I'm originally from Maine, but have been out in the Front Range for a handful of years, and just love being able to participate in the Front Range music scene.
Yeah, and I'm Chelsea Hackett, like Chris said, co-singer of Goldie and the Grindstones, and I have also had the great pleasure to be out here for the past 5 years and was here before for my undergraduate degree as well. I'm from Nevada originally, but Colorado is my permanent home now.
And you guys are playing at the Gold Hill General Store very soon, is that correct?
Yeah, we have a handful of different shows coming up. We're playing actually in Rollinsville on the 20th, but then August 10th we're playing at the Gold Hill General Store, and we're super excited. It's definitely my favorite place that we play.
Yeah, we got a chance to play there in the winter. That was my first time since I'm a little bit of a later joiner to the band, and it was such an incredible vibe, a very supportive community, and even it had just been one of the major snowstorms, and so many people showed up to support, so I can't wait to see what it's like without snow as an obstacle.
Yeah, when people can park up there.
Yeah, exactly.
For the record, this episode of the podcast and this week's column in the paper are supposed to primarily promote the Howlin' Wind Brewing gig, but I figured the Gold Hill General Store gig is a nice little extra to add in. So, how did Goldie and the Grindstones begin?
Yeah, so I'll take this one. I moved to Colorado when COVID started, and I had a bunch of friends out here, and it was really nice, but I had my best friend, his partner at the time was living with Dan Thurnhoffer, who's our guitarist, and one of our COVID things was we made it a point to get together every week and play music. And I lived on Sycamore Street in Boulder, and we became the Sycamore Porch Pickers, just the three of us playing a bunch. And then one of the guys kind of fell out, and we picked up Dave Keller, who's the bass player. And so the three of us played under the moniker of the Sycamore Porch Pickers for a while. But Sycamore Porch Pickers is a pretty bluegrass name, and we didn't really feel like that fit with our sounds. We kind of run the gamut from rock and roll to country to blues to jazz, and really wanted a name that we felt better encapsulated our music. And our guitarist has this beat up old Dodge truck that's gold, and her name's Goldie, and she hauls us and all of our stuff around all the time. And so we were playing with that for a while, and then it was just a time in our life where we felt like we were just a little beat down, a little ground down. So we felt like Goldie and the Grindstones Grindstones just fit with where we were and what we wanted to play and what we wanted to do. And then the interesting thing is our guitarist, his wife got this awesome opportunity to work in Costa Rica. So we moved to Costa Rica for a year, and Dave and I, just the music that we wanted to play was hard to do with just the two of us. So we ended up pulling in a drummer who's our guitarist's brother-in-law, saxophone player who used to climb with Dave, our bassist, and then we pulled in Chelsea as well. And it's been super fun. We've kind of like spent the last year getting the five of us dialed in, and then Dan, our guitarist, will be back for all these shows this summer. So we're really excited to really finally hit our full stride as a band. Sorry, Chelsea, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, well said. I was just going to add that you and I feel like also a little post-COVID feeling had been playing together. I unfortunately don't bring any instrument besides my voice and the occasional cowbell to the group, but Chris and I had been playing together just very casually, and it's been a very welcoming space to come into a band that already had a lot of life before. And I think that, like Chris said, Quinn and Sam and I have got to find our own space within the band, and I think our sound is very adaptive. Like Chris said, it's a mix of everything. I tried to maybe call it Americana, or I'm not sure. There's so many elements to it. Yeah. So it's become a very fun challenge and a really generous space to be working with, like you said, a saxophonist, a drummer, a bassist who plays stand-up and electric bass, and two guitarists who are extremely talented. And it's also been a really incredible space for songwriting, because I think everybody in it wants to add their own voice to it, and everybody's very open to creating music together.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that Chelsea was hitting on is we have a lot of super talented players with such varied backgrounds. I grew up playing jazz and listening to cowboy country. Our bass player grew up playing in a polka band with his mom. Our saxophone player was a jazz instrumentalist at Kansas State. We have a drummer who played rock and roll. Chelsea is musical theater. We just have all of these very talented people with different influences. And so it just makes, like Chelsea said, our music so full and adaptive. And really, we play a lot of covers, but we also write a lot. And it's been really fun figuring out what is our voice and what we want that voice to be.
So Chelsea, Chris just mentioned that your background is in musical theater?
Yeah, my background's in theater. So funnily, I've done vocal training towards theater, but I would say I really enjoy the type of music that we're singing. But as Chris is someone I sing with, have lovingly nudged him towards vocal health and thinking about how to maintain our own instrument, which is our voice, because of my background in musical theater. And I probably bring the most pop vibe, I would say, to the group. I don't know that there was as much desire to do poppiness as before I came into it. But I think, like Chris said, I think it's the variety and the diversity of our backgrounds that actually is helping us to find what is our unique sound.
And do you guys have a primary songwriter for the band, or is the process pretty collaborative?
It's pretty collaborative. I would say generally one person brings in 50 to 75% of a song, and then we workshop it together and we put structure to it. Often maybe a structure comes in and we put words to it, or vice versa. But I think Chelsea and Dave have written a bunch of our songs, but I don't think any one person really holds that. Everyone tries to bring in something. When it was just Dan, Dave, and I, we had a couple weekends that we spent up in the mountains, like solely dedicated to writing music together. And we're planning on doing that again this fall with the whole band. So we want everybody to bring in a piece, but we also want it to be collaborative and our music, not Chelsea's music or Chris's music or Dave's music. And I think to me, that's a really special part of it, and it makes the songs that much more fun to play. I don't know if you feel the same way, Chelsea.
I do, and I think you're underselling yourself because you've written quite a few of our songs, and Dan has as well. And I think something that felt really exciting joining this band after it had already had a life was how prolific all three of Chris, Dan, and Dave have been as songwriters. I think they're all very talented as songwriters in their own right. And personally, as someone who doesn't play the instruments, it's been really wonderful and collaborative to come in and and say, I have the lyrics and I know the melody. I trust you all to fill this in, and we can talk about style and talk about how do we use the songs we're writing to really highlight each of our unique talents that we bring. There's always a discussion of Dan is very, very good at soloing on guitar and can fill space really incredibly. So knowing that there's earmarking a solo for Dan or earmarking a solo for Quinn to take us away on the saxophone, and really finding spaces for, I will say we aren't the only two who sing. Dave also sings a lot of songs, and the other three provide, or actually Quinn has fronted songs as well. We just happen to be the two that tend to take the most of primary singing. But yes, it's been a very collaborative songwriting environment, and I think there's always an eye to really making songs that highlight each other's skills without necessarily feeling too attached to the song for one individual.
How many covers do you perform compared to originals?
I think it's morphing for sure. I think right now we're playing about 50% covers, 50% originals. As we write more, I think we definitely want to lean more on originals. It's kind of fun to sprinkle in songs from our past, songs that have informed our taste, songs that we think will make people move, but also it's way more fun and way more energy to play our own stuff. So right now it's probably 50-50, but we're moving towards as many of our songs as possible.
Yeah, and I think even with the covers we've been doing, I've noticed us grow a lot as a band to be making the covers our own in a new way, because I think it can get stale occasionally to be playing the same thing. And we've really started to explore with what does this sound like when played by Goldie and the Grindstones, not how do we sound like the original creator.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some things that stick out to you about how the band writes songs as a whole?
I can say, I think it's really fun to see each other's patterns of style. Like I can tell our songs that are written by Dave or tell our songs that are written by Chris in terms of the themes we tend to go to. And yeah, as a singer, I feel so blessed to have such incredible musicians to come to and say, this is what it sounds like in my head. How do we do that? And I think Chris can attest to sometimes I make their jobs harder because what I'm hearing in my head isn't the easiest thing for them to play, but having a community of musicians who respect each other's creative ideas enough to get to that place of, oh yes, this is it. And not only getting to that place for ourselves, but then also building on top of it, adding things that we couldn't have imagined with just one musician creating the song.
Yeah, and I think also there's something special about people having strong opinions about things, and why sometimes I chase against it. When we get there, it's like, oh yes, you were totally right. I just didn't understand yet. I think one of my favorite things is just how collaborative it is. It is truly working together, everyone adding what they hear. And it reminds me of the Rick Rubin, throw everything you can in, build it. And then, okay, now let's pare it down to what it truly is. And I just find that super exciting. I tend to be much more of a lyrically focused writer, and I love telling the stories. And different members like Dan and Dave are so music driven. And so I think just the balance of those pieces make some really fun, really powerful songs, which I really enjoy.
What are some of your favorite parts about being able to perform live as a group?
It's so
I think
fun.
one of the things
Sorry,
yeah.
Chris, go for it.
Well, it's so fun. No. I think it's funny. I grew up playing band in high school. I never really planned on being in my own band. I just love playing music. But then I realized we were going to drink beers and sit in somebody's garage and do this anyways. And now it's really fun to be able to do that for people and watch them move and watch them interact with us. And there's something about it sharpens you. Playing music to me is not about hitting all the chords right. It's about communicating an emotion of feeling it. It's about giving to people in ways that feel really good for me. And so that's and it's about an expression as a group. There are times, I don't know if you're a musician or not, but there are times when the 6 of us or 5 of us are together and we hit something that just changes the moment, that just feels so good. And doing that live is really special, and it's hard to get there otherwise. And so, yeah, it's just so fun, and it just fills me up so much.
Yeah. Well said. I think the aspect of feeding off of and building off of the audience, it really makes our music better. And it's really fun to go up with a group of people that you trust. I think we all trust each other to create a great sound together and to carry each other if we miss a note or feel like we messed something up. So it's become a very low stress, and high fun environment. And I think that that's really important for creativity. And I think when we have a great show and we have good energy and something hits different with a crowd, we bring that back into our rehearsal space and it just makes our music better.
And is there anything that you hope audience members will be able to take away from your shows when they come and see you?
I mean, dancing and connecting with it. I think one of the most satisfying things to see I believe Chris and Dan wrote a song, Love Storm, that we tend to end with. And it's really fun to see friends and family who've been coming and supporting us know those lyrics and get into that song. I think offering something creative to people you love and seeing them love it back is so satisfying. So yeah, I would say having a good time and dancing and also connecting with the original music or our take on classics that they've heard is my goal, and for people to enjoy the music as much as we enjoy making it.
Yeah. Love Song was the three of us. It was me, Dan, and Dave. And I agree. It is so special to see people move with you and sing with you. And really, it's just, like I said earlier, we're going to play and have fun anyways. The hope is maybe some other people have a better night or a fun time and want to come and see us again. That's really, we get a lot of intrinsic value from playing. And so the hope is just that gives to other people and they have a better time for it. To me, most of the music is for me and for us.
And I'll jokingly say, for anyone reading, I would love for people to know that I'm not Goldie, despite me being one woman with five men. Goldie is a wonderful truck that has gotten us to many places.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up for the week?
Check us out on Instagram. We have our bassist is really active in getting us into front range places, and we're always trying to find new, fun places to share our music at. So if you're looking for people to fill your venue, reach out to us, Goldie and the Grindstones on Instagram. And if you are a fan of our music, please come out and support the shows and the bars and venues that continue to host us.
Minnesota better. We really appreciate this. This makes us feel like we're part of a community, which is really special to me.
Oh, and one more quick question. Do you guys have any music coming out soon?
We're working on
that, I think. Yeah, hopefully soon. We're trying to get more of an online presence because right now we don't have one. But yeah, if you find us on Instagram, you can hear some of our stuff there.
Thank you so much to Chris and Chelsea for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to see Goldie and the Grindstones performing live, you can catch them at Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Saturday, July 20th, 2024, starting at 5 p.m. If you missed that show, you can also check them out at the Gold Hill General Store, located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill on Saturday, August 10th, starting at 8 p.m. Be sure to check them out on Instagram at Goldie and the Grindstones to learn more about them and when they're coming to a venue near you. And now for this week's Music Mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Netherland on Sunday, July 21st at 2 p.m. to see Mike Lamatola performing live. Head to the Canyon Tavern, located at 32138 Highway 72 in Coal Creek Canyon on Sunday, July 21st, starting at 2 p.m., not 3 p.m. as was previously advertised in the paper, but 2 p.m. to see Will Whalen performing live. I wanted to correct something from last week's podcast. I mentioned that the Diner Bar Ned would be having karaoke nights on Sundays, and I thought that would be correct because that is what they advertised on their Facebook page. However, after the podcast went up, I found out that the Diner Bar Ned has in fact officially closed down. So all of the events on Facebook, as far as I am aware, are no longer happening. I apologize for any confusion that this may have caused, but as far as I'm aware, Diner Bar Ned has officially closed down. Head to the Gold Hill Inn, located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill on Wednesday, July 17th, starting at 5 p.m. to see Moores and Macumber performing live, and on Friday, July 19th at 8 p.m. to see Brandywine and the Mighty Fines performing live. There is also a brand new free of charge show that was just announced on Saturday, July 20th at 5:30 p.m. You can see Children of Divorce performing live. Also be sure to head there on Sunday, July 21st, starting at noon for the KGNU Charles Sawtelle Memorial Mountain Jam 2024. Here is information from the Gold Hill Inn website. KGNU continues its nearly 4-decade tradition on Sunday, July 21st with another afternoon of amazing music from the side yard of the Gold Hill Inn. This year's headliners are iconic Dobro wizard Sally Van Meter and renowned singer-songwriter Benny Burrell Galloway, with Eric Thorin on bass and mandolin champ Jordan Ramsey. Following are the Natalie Padilla Band with Natalie Padilla on fiddle, Eric Wiggs of Jake Leg on guitar, Nick Amadeo on mandolin, and Ian Hagel on bass. And following them are Brian Dubrow from Salome Songbird with Eve Panning from Big Richard, as well as Grammy and Emmy award-winning cellist Joy Adams from Big Richard, as they open the afternoon with a Norman and Nancy Blake-style set. The Charles Sawtelle Memorial Mountain Jam, aka the Charles, is named for the beloved Hot Rise guitarist Charles Sawtelle, who co-founded the event in 1989. He was a great supporter of KGNU Community Radio, and after his passing in 1999, the station renamed the event in his memory. Proceeds from this event directly benefit KGNU. Tickets are $40 in advance and $45 at the door. Head to the Gold Hill Inn website at goldhillinn.com for more information. And finally, be sure to head there on Sunday, July 21st at 5:30 p.m. to see the Laurie Dameron Duo performing live. Head to the Gold Hill General Store, located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill, on Friday, July 19th at 7 p.m. to see Ashley Priest performing live. Head to Howland Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville, on Saturday, July 20th at 5 p.m. to see Goldie and the Grindstones performing live. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown, on Wednesday, July 17th at 5 p.m. for an open mic night, on Thursday, July 18th at 7 p.m. to see Hunter James and the Titanic performing live, on Friday, July 19th at 7 p.m. to see Chuck Sotero of High Lonesome and Friends performing live, and on Sunday, July 21st at 12:15 p.m. to see Annie and the Bang Bang performing live. We didn't mention this weekend's live music events at Knotted Root Brewing, located at 250 North Caribou Street in Netherland, during last week's podcast, which includes Reggae DJ Night with Well Tuned on Friday, July 12th, starting at 7:30 p.m., and live music with Tyler Ballantyne on Saturday, July 13th, starting at 5 p.m. However, we hope we give you enough time now to let you know that there are other live music events happening next weekend. On Friday, July 19th, starting at 7 p.m., there will be another DJ night. On Saturday, July 20th, starting at 5 p.m., there will be live music from Mickey Lenny. And on Sunday, July 21st, starting at 5 p.m., there will be Jazz Sundays, just like every Sunday at 5 p.m. Also be sure to head there Wednesdays at 6 p.m. for an open mic night, and the foreseeable future on Fridays at 7 p.m. for a DJ night. Head to the Party in the Peaks, hosted by the Netherland Farmers Market at 80 East 2nd Street in Netherland on Sunday, July 21st, starting at 10 a.m., not 10:30 a.m. as previously reported in the paper, but at 10 a.m. to see Built to Last open for the Al Capones. And finally, both locations of the Very Nice Brewing Company are now hosting live music. You can head to 180 Jankowski Drive in Blackhawk on Friday, July 19th at 6 p.m. to see Eric Stone performing live. If you still have time, you can also check out Cord Leroy, who we forgot to mention last week, on Saturday, July 13th, starting at 6 p.m. Or you can head to 20 East Lakeview Drive, number 112 in Netherland on Thursday, July 18th at 6 p.m. to see John Mutes performing live, on Friday, July 19th at 6 p.m. to see Johnny Blueheart performing live, and on Saturday, July 20th at 5 p.m. to see Stone Hall performing live. Did we miss you or your performances? Do you want to submit your music listing in the Peak to Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your performances? Please call 303-810-5409 or email info@themountaineer.com or media@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast of The Mountain Ear. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to this week's Music of the Mountains, brought to you by the Mountain Ear Podcast. I'll see you on Monday with a couple more interviews for Miscellaneous Monday.
It was torn, it was tattered, and it was stained. And as I flipped through the pages of a line, right in the middle I found my name.
The song that you are currently listening to is, as of now, a Mountain Ear Podcast exclusive, and it is by Goldie and the Grindstones. It is called Love Song, and it typically closes out their live performances. You can check out Goldie and the Grindstones performing live at 2 different venues in the Peak to Peak area very soon. You have one opportunity at Howland Brewing on July 20th, and another opportunity at the Gold Hill General Store on August 10th, so be sure to keep an eye out for those shows. Also, be sure to check them out on Instagram at Goldie and the Grindstones to see more of what they're doing, and be sure to keep an ear out for official releases coming very soon.
Those hands to be mine. She'd handed me a love song, then she said goodbye. When I thought fly.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.